Music is the ultimate uniter. It belongs to all of us. And now you can own a share of it for yourself. My name is J.W. Roth, founder and CEO here at Venu. I've always been a music fan first and foremost. I was the kid camping out for Stones tickets and singing along in the pouring rain. It's those moments that inspired me to build the first live music company that's fan-founded and fan-owned. A company devoted to creating memories that will last a lifetime. As one of the fastest-growing live entertainment companies in the world, we're disrupting the music industry and the hospitality landscape by offering one-of-a-kind destinations where music, dining, and premium converge. Venu is now traded on the New York Stock Exchange, so you can join the revolution by owning a share of our rapidly expanding portfolio of the most state-of-the-art venues on Earth. We fuel unforgettable experiences for all. These acclaimed destinations have earned recognition from industry leaders like the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, Billboard Magazine, Venues Now, and Variety. Our reputation is built on a commitment of excellence and the philosophy that when you put the desires of fans and artists front and center, everyone wins. Own your passion for great entertainment. Join the music revolution and own the stock that rocks. I'm J.W. Roth, and I'll see you at the show.
And it's my pleasure to introduce our Golden Bowl Award recipient and CEO of Venu, J.W.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time to come and listen to us. I'm not a PowerPoint guy. I'm going to stand up here and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about our business and how we got here and where we're going. Today we're very close to becoming the largest venue builder in the country for amphitheaters. The music business is roaring and has been roaring for a long time. This will be the 10th year in a row that ticket sales and fan demand hit its highest level. And at the exact same time, the supply of new artists and new genres of music at its all-time high. Actually speaking at the Grammys this year, and I'm talking about that. I'm talking about where music is going and what is happening in the area of genres. In the world that you guys live in, supply and demand meet in the stock market, right? That's where buyers and sellers of stock meet each other. In the world that I live in, fans and artists meet in the venues. That's where the relationship between the fan and the artist happens. It happens in music venues. Music venues throughout the United States are old. They're in disrepair. In many cases, they're dilapidated. The average amphitheater in America is 41 years old. These venues were built back before what the fan is demanding today, which is rideshare. It's premium food and beverage. It's elevated seating and premium seating and just all the things that the NFL has done such a great job of doing. Major League Baseball has done a great job of doing it. And what they have done is they have created stadiums and venues that produce more than just the event. It's not just football anymore. They host a football game that's really centered around great food, dwell time, all of the things that are increasing their per caps, and they're winning. And that's where I saw the opportunity to become a disruptor in the music space. I do not come from the hospitality or entertainment space. I am just a huge music fan. And so when I came to this project, I came with my business hat on, but I came to this project as a music fan. My background is that I'm the founder at Roth Premium Foods. Roth Premium is the third largest prepared food manufacturer in the United States. We're the #1 chilled protein manufacturer in the United States. And I think we touch or service almost every grocery store in America every day. Many of the brands that we produce at Roth are either in your refrigerator at home or have been in your refrigerator at home. The brand that you would know the most is Whole30. Whole30 is the #1 health and wellness brand in the world today. And so I sat down with my family 5 years ago. And while I still own the majority of Roth today, I sat down with my family and I said, look, I'm only 58 years old. I've got another one in me. I can go build another one as big or maybe even bigger than Roth. And I can do it in a space that I love, that is ripe for disruption. And so I started with my family and my kids and our partners at Costco and Walmart and everywhere else. And I said, look, I'm going to go do this. And so I took a year and I transitioned out. And I took about 20 of my key people with me, starting with my CFO and our business development folks and some real estate folks. And the idea was to go out and build $5 or $6 billion worth of new venues around the United States. And so I started by sitting down with BCA. They're an architectural firm out of Atlanta. I think they're the best in the world. They participated in Mercedes-Benz, the new stadium with the Raiders in Las Vegas, and they just understand combining events and ambiance and experience. And so I said, look, I want to do what is in my mind, but I need help putting it on paper. And so I sat down with them and we put on paper what is in my head as a great amphitheater. What would that look like? And so we did, but it would never pencil. It was a bazillion dollars, and there was no way I was going to ever be able to hoodwink you into investing in it or hoodwink some bank into loaning me money. And so it was well over 100 million. And they had it all laid out, and it was beautiful on paper, but there's no way I was going to be able to finance it. And so I just did it myself. And I called my own bank, and I begged at the house at breakfast, and I talked to her, this is my wife of 30 years, into letting me do something a little crazy. And at the end of the day, I built what is Polestar nominated Venue of the Year this year. It's the Ford Amphitheater. Ford Motor Company put their name on it. That's it on opening night. And it's the most incredible music venue ever built in history. But again, the way I did it, it would never pencil. So if I'm going to go build $3, $4, $5, $6 billion worth of these, I got to figure out a way to make it work and how I'm going to finance it. So I started by taking a page out of the playbook of the NFL. I thought they did a really good job of building public-private partnerships. I watched what Jerry Jones did with the Cowboys down in Dallas. I watched what Steinbrenner did with the Yankees in New York. And I said, you know what? They built those stadiums based on the economic impact that the stadium and the events brought to the communities. And so I hired the same company they hired. And that's a company called Ryan and Company. Ryan's based out of Dallas, Texas. They're the largest public-private partnership tax firm in the world. They represent many of the municipalities across America. They represent the NFL, Major League Baseball, and they had done those deals that I had admired. So I sat down with them and said, look, I think that I can bring as much, maybe more, economic impact to communities around the United States by building these music venues. And instead of doing 8 events like the NFL does in an area in exchange for several $billion, you give me $100 to $200 million, and I'll bring 50 to 75 events a year, and I'll do it year round. And so they liked the idea. And so we started across the country sort of looking at what great routes would look like. So off of our amphitheater in Colorado Springs, we ride off of Red Rocks to Colorado Springs, then off to Kansas City where Live Nation's new one is, and then off to Tulsa, in Broken Arrow, Dallas, El Paso, Houston. And we started to put that route together. They started to go out and talk to these municipalities. And today, I'm under construction on just a little over $1.5 billion worth of projects right now that will open over the next 18 months with and in partnership with municipalities. The municipalities are putting in about 40% of all the capital, including 100% of all of the real estate. They also add to that tax rebates for 20 years and tax abatements in terms of property tax for life. And so at the end of the day, I was able to check one of the boxes that could help me start to figure out how we were going to get these things financed, but they still didn't pencil. And so there was another sort of company that I had admired, and I thought did a really nice job, and that were the developers that work with and alongside Four Seasons and Ritz-Carlton. And here's what they do. They go out and they build an entity, then set it on top of a ground lease, and they go in and they sell condominiums in the top of that entity. And what that does is it helps finance the infrastructure of the rest of their project, whether it's a hotel or hospitality or whatever it is. Being a sort of an odd guy and a music lover, you can imagine I have a weird backyard. Some of you have been to my backyard. My backyard sits about 50 to 75 people for a show. This year we didn't have a lot of shows, but did have Thomas Dawson play. The Commodores played in my backyard. And I think I have the world's largest residential fire pit and some just weird things that a music guy would have. So I thought to myself, I wonder if I could take my backyard and just squish it down, and I would build fire pit suites or small backyards all over in my venue. And if I did that, could I find a way to condominiumize these and sell them? I had no idea if they'd work or not. But I built 132 of them in that venue right there. And in 25 weeks, we sold every single one of them for over 50% of the cost to build the entire venue. Today, we sell about $1 million or so of these fire pit suites on a daily basis, 5 days a week. And it's one of the fastest growing segments of live music. I believe Clark Hunt is going to take the idea and build it into the new Arrowhead Stadium. He spends a lot of time with us. And I think you're going to find that the condominium idea and fractional ownership will find its way into other venues as well. So with those two ideas combined, we have about 10%, 15% that we have to finance of an entire project, which now we're able to bite that off in a variety of ways, leveraging sale leasebacks, leveraging naming rights and sponsorship. Aramark has come alongside of us and has made a significant investment in our company and will continue to make a significant investment every time we open a new venue. Naming rights partners from the Ford Motor Company to Budweiser, Coca-Cola, Jack Daniels, all of the great sponsorship partners that we have today are re-upping as we roll out into these new venues. And so at the end of the day, we went from a concept that needed my wife's blessing to a concept that we can roll out. And over the course of the next basically 36 months, we will bank 20 of these. These projects, for every 5 that we build, generate about $1.4, $1.5 billion in net tangible assets that sit on our balance sheet and generate about $175 million in EBITDA. We will open 2 more this year. We'll open Tulsa this year, and we will open Dallas in McKinney. I just visited there yesterday. That site is, we're spending $1 million a day in McKinney right now, building that amphitheater. There's over 300 people on that site. Tallest crane in Texas is actually working on it. If you get a chance to look at it, there's a lot of drone footage of what it looks like, but you can watch it as it builds. The roof and stage went in Broken Arrow this last week. Some cool video online about what that looked like when they lifted all of that iron into place. But it's the largest stage in the history of music going in McKinney. And so there's our business. I took the company public a year ago. I don't know if it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, but I did it because I wanted to be fan owned. And that's the way we decided to do that and how we would accomplish that goal. And our stock's trading about where it was when we went public. It's irritating to me because I know the value of my balance sheet. It only irritates me for a little bit, and I just go back to work. But at the end of the day, it's that piece of our business is frustrating, but it won't be for long because of just the trajectory of where we're going. I'd love to have you as a shareholder. I'm here to answer questions and sell you tickets, and so that's our business, and that's my presentation, and I'd love to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can just tell us on how you prepare for the next stage of growth, because obviously you're in a building phase, and where are you in terms of that preparation?
Yeah, so we put an exclusive deal together with Ryan and Company, almost identical to their deal with the NFL. And they owe us 2 bankable public-private partnership transactions every quarter. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to build 8 venues a year, but we will bank 8 development agreements annually. And so, in terms of the growth, it all starts with them. And then the relationship, obviously, that we have with Live Nation and AEG, it sort of follows in tow. It's difficult, we de-risk this business from the beginning by saying, if I sat down on paper, if we all just sat down and had a cocktail, and we put on paper the way to make the most money, we would put on paper that we were going to build these venues, and we were going to operate these venues, and we were going to sell beer, and we were going to put in content. It's just not the way it works. And so it's like in the grocery business, food business I've been in my whole life. You de-risk that business by playing with partners that know, what you don't. So we sat down with great promoters, great ticketing organizations, and we built this business out so that we really are a participatory landlord. We build great venues, but I didn't want to just build a great venue and then just lease it to a promoter. I wanted to participate, and I wouldn't do it any other way. So everything that we do is participatory. I build them. I keep all the sponsorship. I keep 100% of the naming rights. And then I participate with my tenant. My tenant's either Live Nation or AEG or whoever it is at a 50-50 deal. They put up all the guarantees annually. They book all of the shows. They route everything. And then at the end of the day, we divvy up the dough.
So what is the cut that you would get up from Live Nation?
50%.
50%.
And then once we get to a certain level, we get 60%.
Do they have any? Do you have any guarantees for them, and how many shows that they deliver through?
Yeah.
Venues?
So I'll give you an example. AEG guarantees 35 shows. You'll always beat the guarantee. I mean, this will be our 3rd year. Right now, we're sitting on about 37 holds for the 2026 season. So we'll do 50 shows this year. Same with Live Nation. The trade-off is, I'll give you an example. A Live Nation or somebody will come along and say, we'll give you 400,000 tickets for the year. We'll guarantee them. But we want to control everything. And then my response is always, why don't you give me 250,000 tickets and let me also book my own shows? Because we have found at the end of the day, I do better that way because I'm not always competing with maybe another venue that they have. Take Red Rocks, for example. AEG's booking Red Rocks and us, and so they're trying to feed a bunch of mouths, and it's easier for us to bring in a content team like we have. We brought Will Hodgen in. He ran House of Blues for 20 years, and Terry Liebler, and some of those folks. And so we have built our own content team to not compete with our partner, but to subsidize content.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
JW, I'm intrigued by your campfire model.
Yeah.
What is that model? Is that an annual basis they buy that suite? Is that a one-time buy? Is it kind of like the NFL? And I assume higher margins, which is always nice.
What I did is I just copied Ritz-Carlton. I created condominiums. And so and 8% of all of our venues, if any venue that you go to in America, I don't care what venue it is, about 8% of what you see in that venue is what they call unmanifested. Those suites are not on the manifest. And you can get away with about 8% or so dealing with the artist. And so I create venues that have about 8% of its seating is off the manifest and in the form of suites. Then I condominiumize those suites and I sell them just like a condominium. And they come with those tickets and everything else. You pay $1 million for a 10-person suite. You pay $350,000 for a 4-person suite, and you own it. And then we have an escrow from every ticket that takes care of repairs and maintenance and insurance and all of that kind of thing. And that's the way it works. And then I sell you your food and beverage. I sell you your parking, so on and so forth with that. About a third of our buyers, we have about 3 buyers of these condominiums. The first buyer of condominiums is sort of a nutcase, right? He looks like me. He loves music. He has at least 8 friends. and he's got a little money. So there's the first buyer. Second buyer is your corporate buyer. It's the guy that owns a car dealership or the law firm in town or whatever. And he's using it for client appreciation or employee retention or whatever. And then the third buyer is a buyer that never goes. He never goes to a show. He doesn't even live in the market. It's our fastest growing buyer. It's a triple net buyer. He buys it like he buys a Walgreens. And he buys the suite, he leases it back to us, we pay him a cap rate, and then we take over that suite and run it. That suite's about, value-wise, about 25% a year is what you make on that suite. So I pay him an 11% cap rate, and that's the way it goes. And then he can finance it if he wants to. For example, we're just finishing up with Deutsche Bank right now. Deutsche Bank is finalizing a package for that buyer to be able to then finance his condominiums. So, and it'll be probably not the end of this month, but by the end of January, you'll be able to borrow it from the SBA, or you'll be able to borrow it from Deutsche Bank or whoever it is, to finance your suites. And we see about 50% do that.
Where are those available? Where do you list those?
Well, they're all over the place, but mostly on triple net sites, and they're not our sites. So if you go to Sands Investment Group, Sands is the largest triple net real estate company in the United States. They do the Walgreens and they do the Costco's and grocery stores and restaurants and stuff like that. And if you go to Sands Investment Group, you'll see sprinkled throughout their site fire pit suites at our different venues, and they sell triple nets. And so they'll buy them, they'll sell them to one of their customers, and that's the way it works. And they do, a couple $1 million a week with us.
With more than 6,000 small and micro cap companies listed, if you're looking for the next Apple, then Channel Check truly is the orchard. It's an investor community where you can access independent Wall Street research, advanced market data, balanced news, corporate videos, and podcasts. You can even register to attend in-person Meet the Management Series lunches, and to be part of the preeminent annual Small and Microcap Investor Conference, NobleCon. And here's the best news. Since Channel Check is sponsored by the featured companies, premium membership requires no investment. It's absolutely free. So check it out. Log in today. Find out why Channel Check is North America's leading source of research on the companies that just may change the world.